There's a red dot on the screen. Therefore, must mean it's welcome to S.H.I.E.L.D. time. Brand new Daredevils in the game. The King Fist, or King of the Fist. So, look at him and the merry band of miscreants that we'll potentially have to use. If I were to guess, I haven't looked online to see who would be the featured characters. I would imagine some form of the Defenders or a Kingpin or an Electra. That's just me guessing. We'll find out. We do have to face off against the four-star version of Kingpin. He's a black, purple, yellow user. His black ability, it's called Wilson's Gambit, costs, I believe it's A. But I know they've reworked it several times. But anyway, what it does, Kingpin will destroy some number of countdown tiles on the board. And depending upon the how many countdown tiles, there'll be some different effects. So if he happens to have at least one countdown tile, he'll deal damage to the target. If it's three or more, then he'll destroy three of them things, and then deal damage to the enemy team instead. The Fist Defense is his purple ability. It happens to be 8 as well. And Wilson will destroy some number of AP and the enemy's strongest color, and then he'll gain yellow AP. Now again, depending upon the levels, at max level, it reduces the enemy's strongest color by 6 and generates 8 yellow. Lower levels, it's somewhat of an even trade. And Magia Pons is his yellow ability that costs 10. And it'll create some number of countdown tiles on different colors, and they'll do different things depending upon which of the countdown tiles resolves. Some of them will create strike tiles, some of them will deal damage to the target, I don't know if some steals AP, but if you remember how the Magia work as as goons, the Magia muscle, he'll create some number of strike tiles. The Hitman will do damage to the target, then the Thug, he'll do damage to the target too. So again, various things. As far as his meaning Kingpin's affiliations, you got villains, Magia, obviously, team cap and street level for all those that care. I'm surprised they didn't give him the hand, but hey. Speaking of a member of the hand, we got Daredevil, King of the Fist. His color set is a purple, yellow, and red, similar to the 5-star Electra. And it's a combination of his 5-star counterpart and his 4-star counterpart. 3-star counterpart. Well, this is his 3-star counterpart. But if you remember, the 3-star counterpart has purple, red, and blue. The 5-star has yellow, purple, and green. Again, though not in that particular order. And this is kind of a hybrid, at least color-wise. Now, power-wise, completely different. So the Fist is purple ability that happens to cost 6. It creates a countdown tile on the board that deals damage and then creates another fish countdown tile, and if you match it, it creates a strong attack tile. So this is something similar to the 3 stars Billy Club, where if you, well, and the 5 stars countdown tile, where if you match it, it'll it'll do something on the board, and then at the start of the battle, passively increase the max health of allies by whatever percentage. And if Electra's on the team, then increased ally ability damage by 50%. And of course, this passive is always active or always unlocked. A better way is both active and passive, but it costs 8. So it stuns the target and one other enemy for 3 turns. And you empower up to 2 friendly strike and attack tiles by 85%. Again, that's something similar to what Electra does. At least the stealing of the strike and attack tiles, or in the 5-star Electra's case, whenever somebody creates a tile of the type that you've chosen. Anyway, passively, whenever you fire off a power, you heal the ally with the lowest health for whatever the listed amount for each villain teammate, and you create a yellow strike tile for each hero teammate. And Electra counts as both a hero and a villain for this ability. Again, the fact that she's betrayed and worked with Daredevil many times, yeah. And finally, violence when necessary is his red, active and passive. Actively, you select the enemy and you deal damage to them, ignoring projectiles and invisibility. And passively, whenever you make a match, reduce the match damage by whatever the listed amount is. And then to convert a non-friendly red tile into a trap tile. And then whenever you fire off an ability, you deal damage for every friendly trap tile on the board, and then you disarm this ability's trap tiles. Essentially, this is, how can I put it, the red from 3-star Daredevil's ambush ability, something similar to that, but with a slight twist, reducing the match damage. But if you have to fire off an ability, you destroy all the trap tiles and that deal damage. So again, you get 10 trap tiles on the board, that's 300 or 3740 damage. So yeah. His affiliation for all those that care: hero, defenders, street level, and enhanced. For all those that care. So let's get into it. So we know we won't be able to stun Kingpin, because again, this is a 1-on-1, but we want to try and at least deny this some number of purple and some amount of black. Again, I'd rather just deny the black. Again, if he matches trap tiles, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna go this way. We don't have enough purple for him to even tempt that there. Alright, let's match this one here away so we can at least
get rid of some of those.
Again, can't really use that.
I mean, I can, but it does us no good.
Alright, cool. A little bit of extra damage there.
There's a cheap shot. See, and there goes that reduced mass damage right there. Because again, we're relying on other powers to do our due diligence.
Yeah, see, can't fire up that ability there because you can't stun. Alright, one more cycle of this then. Or violence when necessary, and you should be done. Alright.
So there's those points there. Thanks Alliance for playing as per usual. Got a little bit of a cycle left until get some better rewards. Let me see here. Just roll with this version here of Electra and just go from there. Again, this version of Electra doesn't really stun, but once you get the Valley of Death going, we'll be stealing some AP and ooh, that sucked. Now let's hope it's okay. Cool. I can tolerate that. Alright, let's reduce some of the damage that I'm gonna take. Matthew should be done after this little cascade. Maybe. There we go. Alright. So now let's see who we get with the 3-star, well, 2 stars, or in this case here, an Ascended 3-star. Captain Marvel. Should just been Carol Danvers, Miss Marvel, but I'm gonna let her ride out. So she's a yellow, red, and black user, though not in that particular order. Her red ability, it costs 7, called Photonic Blast. It will deal damage to the target and then destroy
some number of tiles that happen to be projectiles.
Her black ability costs Sonic Boom.
It costs 8.
It deals damage to the enemy team,
Creates a 3-turn countdown tile that when it
reaches 0, deals an additional amount of damage to the enemy team. And then finally, her yellow ability,
which is called Strategic Command.
It costs 8. It converts some number of
basic tiles or just tiles in general into team up tiles. Cascades will happen, all that good stuff there. Her affiliations for all those that care, I know
it's Avengers, obviously, Heroes, obviously, Team Iron Man, Cosmic, and Enhanced for all those that care. Again, I'm just throwing some characters together because don't really care enough for the easy node. Just to get the Deadpool there. Booyakasha. Alright, they want to show your stuff. So there's the Electra that I kind of hinted at. She happens to be
a yellow,
a purple, black, and red user.
Her power set is going to be similar
to the 4-star version that I used in some respects. Well, let's talk about it. Her purple ability, double cross, costs 7,
converts any purple tiles, basic purple tiles into enemy purple tiles with pretty low strength,
and if there happen to be any strike
or at higher levels attack tiles, then she'll convert those enemy tiles into friendly strike tiles with a stronger strength. Her black ability, Shadow Step, I believe it costs 10 as well, like the
4-star version.
Yeah, it does.
So she'll
convert some number of basic black tiles, randomly of course, into trap tiles, and each time she is dealt damage, one of those disappears,
and she will deal a retaliatory amount of damage
to the target, and obviously generating AP, meaning black AP.
And then finally, Crippling Blow. This is the one ability that's a little bit different from the 4-star version. It costs 9, so she deals damage to the target, then she creates a 4-turn countdown tile that deals damage to the enemy that she targeted for some amount of health till it reaches 0. Her affiliations for all those that care: Heroes, Team Cap, Defenders, and Street Level. I doubt we will get a chance, at least today, to see some of Electra's abilities. If we do, it would be a miracle. Okay, we will get to see a chance to see Shadow stuff at least.
but again, not gonna really do us any good. I'll at least draw a crippling blow, why not? And there's the Women's History Month token. Alright, Toughen Up is Luke Cage Power Man. Now, when I looked at the Daredevil and Friends vault, I did see that Luke Cage was up in there, so that's one of the only ones that I knew. But anyway, he's a yellow, black, and red user. His yellow ability is called Heroes for Hire. It costs 8. He will fortify any friendly special tiles on the board, and then he'll do damage accordingly to the number of fortified friendly special tiles that are on the board. His black ability is a passive called the Defender. Anytime the enemy fires off a power, Luke Cage will create a projectile on black, or convert a random black basic tile into a projectile. And then, depending upon the level, either Luke will remove the enemy special tile if he happens to be out in front, or he'll reduce the damage or the strength of the enemy strike, attack, or projectile by some amount. Again, depending upon if he's in front and whether or not Luke has less than 5 in black. And then finally, a bunch of Fiddle Faddle. His red ability costs 13. I know it's pretty high. Luke will deal damage to the target, and then depending upon whether or not there are any enemy strike, attack, or projectiles on the board, he'll either do a big amount of damage or he'll do a lesser amount of damage. Again, depending upon how much, whether or not there's an enemy strike, attack, or projectile on the board. And again, Defender, if he's out in front, again, reduces, but if he's out in front, he just flat out removes it. And then Hero for Hire, like I said. Oh, I forgot about the Iron Fist. If he's an active ally, then Luke will create a projectile first and then fortify everything else. His abilities for all those that care, affiliations, Heroes, Defenders, Avengers, Team Cap, Enhanced, and Heroes for Hire. Well, let's have an active Iron Fist. Doesn't really matter which one. Okay, so now if we got Electra, so that must mean there's a sneaking suspicion we're probably going to be getting a Jessica Jones, maybe? That's the only other character of the Defenders, at least this version of the Defenders that we don't have, or we haven't used. There we go. Keep Luke out in front. that.
Let him take some of the damage. Why not?
Now, if you notice all those strike tiles that Daredevil creates, you can kind of see a few folks to pair him up with. One specifically is Iron Fist, because Iron Fist loves strike tiles on the board. And I finally test the skill. Okay, Gorgon. Okay, well, gotta use him. So Gorgon is a purple, red, and blue user. They're not in that particular order, and it kind of makes sense too, because Gorgon was one of the leaders of the hand. So there you go. So his blue ability is called Calculated Strikes. Cost 6. He deals a hit of damage to the target for each unique color amongst the destroyed tiles this turn. And then if God Killer is active, then you swap it to Grass Cutter. And then passively, whenever the abilities are swapped, then you burst heal Gorgon for the listed amount. Don't worry, we're gonna get the God Killer momentarily. Petrifying Gaze is purple ability which costs 9. You stun the target for some number of turns, and then you deal damage to him. And then if Grass Cutter is active, you swap it to God Killer. And then while an enemy is stunned passively, God Killer costs 2 AP less, minimum of 3. And then God Killer is his red ability that costs 6. You destroy a target column. Of course, destroyed tiles don't generate AP or deal damage. And then the ability becomes Grass Cutter. And we'll talk about that there after we read off the passive. When this ability becomes God Killer, you deal damage to a random enemy, prioritizing stunned enemies first. Then you permanently increase the damage of God Killer and Grass Cutter by the listed percentages. Higher levels would be 20. Now, Grass Cutter does the same thing. Destroy a target row instead of a targeted column. Of course, the same thing. Destroy tiles don't generate AP or deal damage. And then when it becomes Grass Cutter, you deal damage to enemy team, and then you permanently increase the damage by the listed amounts. Yada yada yada. His affiliations are villains, mutants, geniuses, the Hand, and Dark Avengers for all those that care. Now, for Gorgon, I will reserve my right to use my 5-star characters on day 2, day 3, because as you see, my Gorgon is a 2/1/1, and let's just say him as a character, he ain't really that good. I'll put it as mild as I can. Mainly because of his Calculated Strikes ability. Now, that requires you to use a character that will randomly destroy the board, destroy tiles on the board. If you have no way to destroy tiles on the board, specifically his God Killer, yeah, that becomes a little bit of an annoyance.
And then, so there's your hit of damage right there.
Oh no, you destroyed some of my pals. Big whoop.
Alright, Frank. Put all your teammates to sleep. So that's what I was trying to do. Try to get to Frank's green and then use his black and go from there. Now Frank is a useful way to get around Daredevil's
Max damage. Well, I mean, if you just
strengthen up strike tiles. Cool deal.
another person you can probably use is the 5-star Gamora. I'll show you why momentarily once I find her. Pulse disruption.
You fire off a yellow. Friendly damage can't be reduced while that tile's on the board. You ain't really worried about that. Blade of Finesse, you're not really worried about that, but mainly her yellow ability to get around all that shenanigans from Daredevil. Anyway, Daredevil and Friends, again, for those who don't know, you have your featured 4-star, then you have your featured, your required 4-star, random 4-star, featured 3-star, random assortment of 3 stars, along with the 2-star, purple ISO 8, basic support tokens, attempt for a legendary token, heroics, and mighty token. Again, no sense in holding any of these here, because you're gonna need them. I mean, well, not that you're gonna need them, just that these tokens here, they're one and done, meaning you do all the events that give out these tokens here, and that's the only source of you getting them. Women's History Month, again, that's still going on for the next 8 days. You know, no sense in letting these here go to waste, because you can get a good amount of oh my gosh, good amount of charge for somewhat powerful 5-star and Kitty. Jean Grey, she's there. Rogue still somewhat solid, especially in the Ascendant case. Yada yada yada. Offers, we're gonna skip that $65 deal there, but this one here, the power pack for 1,500 hero points. Jump on that there. And yeah, that is about it for me. As far as I know, we'll be back at it tomorrow with the Crash of the Titans. So we'll do that. We'll finish off day 2 of Welcome to S.H.I.E.L.D. Again, I reserve the right to use my 5-star, so we will be doing that there for the second day at least. Probably the third day too. And yeah, so be excellent to your fellow human beings, and I'll catch you all later. Till then, peace.